Good morning, Riverside, and welcome to 1 Million Cups in Riverside County. Today we have an exciting presentation from Henri De Roule, this founder and CEO of the Science Experience. Henri?
Ralph, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to present today. I'm the founder and CEO, as was said, of the Science Experience. We are a nonprofit 501c3 public charity classified by the IRS, so give generously. I started this company because I saw a hole in the Inland Empire, and the hole was education, and specifically in the STEM fields. As you know, STEM is a buzzword today. Publication no less than Scientific American came out with critical thinking is best taught outside the classroom. And why is that? Because people learn better by play. And that's what we're about. We're about, well, I'll let Dennis the Menace say it the best. It's a lot more fun than learning stuff in person, rather than being taught. Our partners, we have partnered with some of the major educational institutions in the area, with NASA JPL, the NAVC Center, Naval Weapons Center here in Corona, for an underwater remote operated vehicle program. All of our projects are project-based learning. That's a school term if you haven't run across it. And it has to do with the very thing that we do. We have the kids come in and actually learn how to build things, something that we used to do a long time ago in schools that we simply don't do anymore. And the kids love it. I like the saying there, teaching is something others do to us. Learning is what we do to ourselves, because we learn what we're interested in, no matter what we're taught. Benjamin Franklin, a long time ago, said, "Tell me, and I'll forget. Teach me, I'll remember. Involve me, and I'll learn." And as you can see by these pictures here, these kids are actually involved in learning things. Up in the corner up there, we have a vacuum pump. Kids are learning what happens when we take stuff up into near space, what would happen to it if it were in the International Space Station, for instance. We make water boil, pretending it's blood. What would happen if they didn't have a pressure suit or what's called a space suit on? We have exhibits where they can actually see and feel their voice by looking at the waveform on an oscilloscope, and then feel it with a speaker that's attached to an amplifier. We build underwater remote operated vehicles. We have a program in coordination with the Navy and the Association of Unmanned Vehicle Systems International, and we'll be doing our second competition on March 21st of next year. We had 20 teams last year. We'll have over 50 this year. Again, some other examples of our interactive exhibits. On the left, you can see they're working a generator to generate electricity and make fans turn or lights light. The interesting thing is we also have a connection to it for solar panels, so when we take it outside, we can show them that we can let the sun do the work instead of having them have it to crank the generator. And of course, that applies when you're talking about power stations, and then you can scale up all of these experiments to represent what's going on in the world today. We also are a certified NASA lunar materials handler. Back in the 1970s, the astronauts collected materials that they brought back from the moon, roughly 435 pounds worth. That has been broken down into these very small discs. There are several hundred of them that are throughout the world. NASA loans them out to people who have gone through a course and understand the importance of them and how to present them. You can see down below one of our presentation stands and some kids going through it. One of the interesting things is not only the kids weren't alive when this stuff was collected, but in many cases their parents weren't as well. We also, as I mentioned before, do underwater remote operated vehicles. These are not robots. The difference between a robot and a UAV, ROV is that ROVs are tethered. And last year when we were building these, or actually early this year, was when Flight 370 went down. So the kids were building remote operated vehicles, and there was a real live example that was happening that they could relate to. This was a competition that we held. This was called an open build, in which the kids had an opportunity to design and build whatever they wanted. And we had 9 teams of 4 kids per team. We had 9 different designs come out of that, different from each other, and they all worked. We also, through NASA, have had access to a portable planetarium. This is like a big blow-up bouncy house, but inside it has the projection system that you can see here. The kids enter through a double black door here, and inside the dome is projected just like a large planetarium. And it can fold down and fit in the trunk of a car. So we took that around to 12 different schools in 1 month. We had over 3,000 kids go through it, and they were fascinated. 95% of them didn't even know what a planetarium was before we had introduced it to them. Our service area is the Inland Empire. Every time I look at the Inland Empire, I see this big hole. There's things all around it, but there's nothing inside. And that's why we have these great educational institutions here, like UCR, Cal State, Cal Baptist, Loma Linda, but the kids go elsewhere. How many commuters live here and work in LA County or Orange County? So there are 4 million people who live here. 1 million of those are students. They should have access to the kinds of things that are available in other parts of the country. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started 5 for-profit companies in my lifetime in the high-tech industry. And this is my first nonprofit. And it's been a challenge and a heck of a lot of fun. This is a building that we are finalizing the contract for right now. It will be in Beaumont, California, which is right at the intersection of Interstate 10 and Interstate 60. It has 22,000 square feet, and it will be broken out into different areas to perform different projects. But it will be open enough to where the kids can cross select. They can say, oh, I saw something over there that I think would work here. And so they can go get it and bring it over and see if it will. The whole idea is for them to experiment and design and have ideas and develop ideas that they may not have otherwise. This is just another shot giving you an idea of what the interior would look like a little better. This is who we are, the Science Experience. Our website is thescienceexperience.org, and our phone number is right there. We also have a Facebook page. It needs a little bit of updating. We've been so busy in fundraising mode. We are in full fundraising mode now. We expect to be open sometime in March next year. I am shooting for what is called Pi Day. If you know what that is, 3.14, March 14th. Also happens to be Einstein's birthday. Yes. And next year is the first time, and last time this century, it'll be 3.1415, which is actually pi to 4 digits. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present